siya naman oh. Ano ba tong napasok ko? Napasigaw si January sa loob ng kanyang sleek, city girl na kotse. Kanina pa siya nagda-drive, at kanina pa rin niya gustong murahin ang sarili niya for even agreeing to this stupid trip. Ang init, ang alikabok at ngayon ito. Isang malakas na king great. No. Hindi pwedeng mangyari to. Frantic, binuksan niya ang pinto at lumabas. The air was thick, humid, and smelled of damp earth and something else, something wild. Napangiwi siya. This was a disaster. Her pristine white sneakers were now coated in a fine layer of reddish dust. Her meticulously planned outfit, stylish but supposedly comfortable linen dress, felt sticky and out of place. Wala man lang signal ang phone niya. Hello? May tao ba dito? Sigaw niya, hoping against hope na may dumaang tricycle man lang or, God, kahit isang kalabaw na may sakay. Pero wala. Tanging huni lang ng mga kuliglig at ang tila ng aasar na pagaspas ng mga dahon ang sagot sa kanya. Napasabunot siya sa buhok. Lolo naman kasi eh. Kung hindi lang dahil sa iyo, hindi ako mapapadpad sa impyernong to. For weeks, her lolo, Don Alvaro Montoya, had been pestering her to visit him in Isla de Carmina. Isang isla na, according to her mom, ay paraiso, pero para kay January, it sounded more like the boondocks where civilization forgot to drop beef. Pero dahil sa matinding pangulit at kaunting emotional blackmail from her mother, dalawin mo na ang lolo mo, January. Namimiss ka na noon. Konting respeto naman sa matanda, heto siya ngayon, stranded and sweating like pig. Sinubukan niyang buksan ang hood ng kotse, pero parang nag-al sa balutan na rin ito. Ayaw bumukas. Arf! Buwisit na kotse. Akala ko ba German engineering to? Bakit parang tinopak bigla? Napaupo siya sa gilid ng kalsada, sa ilalim ng isang puno na mukhang mas matanda pa sa lolo niya, trying to fan herself with her hand. Tears of frustration pricked her eyes. City girl siya, for crying out loud. Ang alam lang niyang mechanical trouble ay kapag nalobat ang phone niya or naghang ang laptop. Ilang minuto siyang nakatulala doon, pinapakinggan ang sarili niyang paghinga at ang unti-unting pagsizzle ng kung anuman sa ilalim ng hood. Nang bigla, may narinig siyang kaluskos. Napatalon siya. Sino yan? She yelled, her voice trembling a bit. Baka mamaya, wild boar or, worse, mga bandido. Napanood niya iyon sa mga pelikula, di ba? Mula sa gilid ng kakahuyan, dahan-dahang lumabas ang isang lalaki. At para siyang definition ng T-row around the edges. He was tall, lean but muscular, wearing a sando na dati sigurong puti pero ngayon ay may mga mansa na ng grasa at pawis, at kupas na maong pants na may punit sa tuhod. His skin was sun-kissed, almost bronze, and his dark hair was damp, clinging to his forehead. May dala siyang mga gamit na mukhang pangmekaniko. Pero ang nakakuha talaga ng atensyon ni January ay ang mga mata nito. Seryoso, malalim at parang may kung anong kislap. Ewan. Basta, kakaiba. Hindi ito nagsalita. Tinitigan lang siya, tapos ang kotse niya, tapos siya ulit. Medyo na-conscious si January. Hey, alanganing bati niya. In Miss car, I think it's broken. Obvious ba, January? Gusto niyang batukan ang sarili. The man just nodded, slowly. Then, without a word, lumapit siya sa kots. Pinakiramdaman. Sinipat. Parang doktor na nag-check up ng pasyente. January watched him, a strange mix of relief and apprehension swirling inside her. Relief, kasi mukhang may makakatulong na sa kanya. Apprehension, kasi he was a complete stranger and he looked like he wrestled crocodiles for a living. Pero may something sa tindig niya, sa paraan ng pagkilos niya, na parang composed. Hindi siya mukhang masamang tao. Medyo intimidating lang. Grabe yung lubak doon sa unahan, January found herself explaining, pointing vaguely down the road. Parang sinlaki ng crater. Doon ata naalog yung something sa ilalim. The man grunted, a sound that could mean anything. He finally managed to open the hood. More smoke billowed out, making January cough. Pero itong si is silent and dirty, parang wala lang. He peered into the engine, his brow furrowed in concentration. His hands, though stained with grease, moved with a surprising deftness, checking wires, hoses, and other unidentifiable metal thingamajigs. January just stood there, awkwardly. Kaya pa kayang ayusin yan, she asked, trying to sound hopeful. Baka sabihin nito, ay, miss, kailangan na tong i-junk shop. Naku, wag naman sana. He didn't answer immediately. Patuloy lang siya sa pagkutingting. After what felt like an eternity, tumingin siya kay January. At doon, for a split second, their eyes met and January felt it, a jolt. Hindi kilig, hindi takot. More like an intense awareness. His eyes, dark and unreadable, seemed to see right through her city girl facade. May lungkot doon pero may talino rin. At may something na parang pamilyar pero hindi niya matukoy. Parang may tinatagong kung ano sa likod ng maruming damit at pawisang mukha. A secret, maybe. Or hidden depth. For a brief moment, she forgot she was stranded, forgot her Lolo, forgot everything except the intensity in those eyes. Then, just as quickly, he looked away, back to the engine. Radiator hose, he finally said, his voice surprisingly low and steady, a bit raw around edges, like fine grit sandpaper. Natanggal. At mukhang may leak na rin yung radiator mismo. Oh. January blinked. Radiator hose. Leak? Greek yun sa kanya. So anong gagawin natin, she asked, feeling utterly useless. May spare hose ka, he asked, wiping his hands on an equally dirty rag he pulled from his back pocket. Spare hose? Napaisip si January. I don't think so. Hindi ko alam eh. Basta nag-drive lang ako. Ang tanga pakinggan. He let out a sigh, a small puff of air. Hindi inis, hindi rin tawa. Basta buntong hininga lang. Wala akong dalang tamang sukat dito. Pero pwede kong subukang remedyuhan pansamantala para lang makaandar ka papunta sa pinakamalapit na talyer. Oh and my God, really? You can do that? Biglang nabuhayan ng loob si January. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. Babayaran na lang kita kahit magkano. The man just looked at her, his expression unreadable again. Hindi siya sumagot tungkol sa bayad. Instead, he rummaged through his bag of tools. January watched him, fascinated. Para siyang surgeon na naghahanda for an operation. He was all business, focused and efficient. Sa kabila ng dumi sa damit at grasa sa kamay, may dignidad sa bawat kilos niya. Yung tipong, alam niya ang ginagawa niya. While he worked, January couldn't help but study him. His profile was strong, with a straight nose and a firm jawline. Kahit pawisan at medyo magulo ang buhok, gwapo siya, in a rugged, unconventional way. Definitely not her type. Her type was more polished. Corporate. Pero there was an undeniable magnetism about this man. Isang klaseng appeal na hindi mo makikita sa mga nakasuit and tie sa Makati. Saan ka ba papunta, miss? He asked, still not looking at her, busy with piece of wire and some kind of heavy-duty tape. Sa Isla de Carmina, January replied. Pupuntahan ko yung lolo ko. Si Don Alvaro Montoya. The man paused. For a fraction of a second, his hand stilled. Then he resumed his work, a little more slowly this time. Kilala ko si Don Alvaro, he said, his voice flat. Nanlaki ang mga mata ni January. Talaga? You know Envy Lolo. Anong klaseng probinsya to? Everyone knows everyone. Paano mo siya nakilala? He tightened something with a wrench, the metallic sound sharp in the afternoon quiet. Matagal na, he said, finally looking up at her. And there it was again, that intense gaze. Madalas ako sa hacienda. Hacienda? So, her lolo still owned that. Akala niya, kwentong barbero lang yun ng nanay niya. So, you work for him, she guessed. Isa ka sa mga tauhan niya? Mukha naman siyang manggagawa, pero yung itauhan, parang ang harsh pakinggan. The man gave a small, almost imperceptible smile. Or maybe it was a grimace. Hindi sigurado si January. Pwede mong sabihin ganon, he replied cryptically. Cholo nga pala. He extended Gracie hand. January hesitated for a moment, looking at his stained hand, then at her own clean one. But then she thought, ano ka ba, January, arte mo. Tinulungan ka na nga ng tao. She reached out and shook his hand. His grip was firm, calloused, but not raw. January, she said. Thanks, Cholo. For, you know, everything. Walang anuman, he said, pulling his hand back. Okay na siguro to para makarating ka sa bayan. Pero ipacheck mo agad sa mekaniko pagdating mo doon. Hindi to tatagal. He closed the hood, wiped his hands again, and gathered his tools. Parang magic na ayos niya. Or at least, temporarily. So, anong daan papuntang Isla de Carmina? January asked, pulling out her phone again, hoping for a miracle signal. Wala pa rin. Cholo pointed down the dusty road. Diretsuhin mo lang yan. Mga 1 oras pa siguro kung hindi ka maliligaw. May makikita kang arko na may pangalan ng isla. Hindi ka pwedeng magkamali. 1 oras pa? Oh God! She was already exhausted. Sure ka bang hindi ako maliligaw? Mukhang puro puno lang ang dadaanan ko eh. Hindi, he said, with a certainty that was somehow reassuring. Kung si Don Alvaro ang pupuntahan mo, alam na ng daan kung saan ka dadalhin. Ang weird ng sinabi niya. Pero may point. Parang may sariling buhay ang lugar na to. CJ, January said, trying to sound brave. Thank you ulit, Cholo. How much do I owe you? Inabot niya ang wallet niya. Cholo just shook his head. Huwag na. Maliit na bagay. No, please. I insist. Nag-abala ka. Sa susunod na lang, kapag nagkita tayo ulit, he said, and this time, January was sure she saw a faint smile play on his lips. It transformed his face, making him look younger, almost charming. Mag-iingat ka sa pagdadrive, January. With a final nod, he turned and walked back towards the trees, disappearing as silently as he had appeared. Iniwan si January na nakatulala, hawak pa rin ang wallet. Sa susunod na lang, kapag nagkita tayo ulit, she murmured to herself. Did that mean they would see each other again? At bakit parang kinabahan siya sa ideyang yun? Pinilig niya ang ulo. Get a grip, January. Ang importante, umaandar na ulit ang kotse mo. Hopefully. She got back into her car, the leather seat feeling hot and sticky. She took a deep breath and turned the key in the ignition. The engine sputtered, caught, then miraculously, roared to life. Napabuga siya ng hangin sa sobrang relief. Thank you, Cholo, she whispered, even though he was long gone. As she carefully navigated the rest of the bumpy, dusty road, her mind kept replaying her encounter with the mysterious mechanic. Cholo. He knew her lolo. He frequented the hacienda. Pero bakit parang may something off? Yung mga mata niya, yung tindig niya. Parang hindi lang siya ordinaryong mekaniko na napadaan. May tinatago ba siya? O baka naman, napaparanoid lang siya dahil sa stress at sa init. Hi, Isla de Carmina, she sighed, as she finally saw dilapidated wooden archway in the distance, with faded letters spelling out the island's name. Ano pa kayang mga sorpresa ang naghihintay sa akin dito? Little did she know, her encounter with Cholo was just the beginning. And the hidden wealth she sensed wasn't just a figment of her imagination. It was a secret that would turn her world and her heart upside down. Pagkatapos ng tila walang katapusang biyahe sa maalikabok na daan, sa wakas, natanaw na rin ni January ang malaking bakal na tarangkahan ng Hacienda Montoya. Isla de Carmina, basa niya sa mga letrang kupas na pero halata pa ring ingrande noong araw. Parang eksena sa isang lumang pelikula. The car, still sputtering a bit from Cholo's temporary fix, crawled up a long, winding driveway lined with ancient acacia trees. Their branches formed canopy overhead, dappling the sunlight and casting an almost melancholic gloom. At the end of the driveway stood the main house. It wasn't a modern monstrosity like some of the new rich mansions back in the city. Instead, it was a sprawling, two-story structure made of dark wood and stone, with wide verandas and capiz shell windows. It looked old. Majestic, yes, but also a bit weary, like it had seen better days and was now just patiently waiting. May halong excitement at kaba si January. This was her lolo's kingdom, the place she only heard about in her mother's nostalgic stories. Pagbaba niya ng kotse, a few uniformed staff, mga katulong na mukhang matagal nang naninilbihan sa pamilya, came out to greet her. They were polite, almost reverent, calling her Senorita January. Medyo na-awkward siya, hindi siya sanay sa ganoong treatment. Si Lolo po, tanong niya sa isang matandang babae na may malumanay ng ngiti, si Manang Belen, ang head housekeeper, base sa pagpapakilala nito. Nasa kanyang opisina po, Senorita. Hinihintay na po kayo, sagot ni Manang Belen, iginigya siya papasok. The interior of the house was dim, cool, and smelled of old wood, floor wax, and something else, perhaps a hint of tobacco from her lolo's cigars. Malalaki ang mga muebles, gawa sa Naara, at may mga painting sa dingding na mukhang mas matanda pa sa Pilipinas. It was impressive, but also a bit suffocating. Parang museum. Her lolo, Don Alvaro Montoya, was exactly as she remembered him from their last brief meeting a few years ago, tall, imposing, with a shock of white hair and eyes that seemed to pierce right through you. He was standing near a large window in his dimly lit office, looking out at the vast sugarcane fields that stretched as far as the eye could see. Hindi man lang siya lumingon nang pumasok si January. Lolo, January said, trying to keep her voice steady. May konting pag-asang sana naman, kahit papano, matutuwa itong makita siya. Don Alvaro finally turned, his expression unreadable. So, dumating ka, he said, his voice raspy, devoid of any warmth. Hindi yon welcome, apo, o kaya, kamusta ang bayahe mo? Kundi isang simpleng statement of fact. Dumating ka. Period. Opo, Lolo, sagot ni January, trying to plaster a smile on her face. Medyo eventful nga po yung biyahe eh. Nasiraan po ako ng kotse sa daan. Ganoon ba, was all he said, his gaze sweeping over her, from her slightly dusty dress to her city-worn sneakers. Parang ini-evaluate siya, at parang hindi siya pumapasa. Manang Belen will show you to your room. Magpahinga ka muna. Dinner is at 7. Tapos, bumalik na ulit ang tingin niya sa bintana. Dismissed. Just like that. January felt pang of disappointment, and a familiar surge of annoyance. Ganito naman lagi si Lolo Alvaro. Malamig. Distant. Parang hindi niya alam kung paano magpakita ng affection. O baka ayaw lang talaga nito sa kanya. Sage po, Lolo, she mumbled, then turned to leave, feeling smaller than when she arrived. Manang Belen led her up a grand wooden staircase to a large, airy room with a four-poster bed. It was old-fashioned but clean, and the windows overlooked a sprawling garden. Kung may kailangan po kayo, Senorita, tawagin niyo lang po ako, sabi ni Manang Belen with a kind smile before leaving her. January sighed and flopped down on the bed. Welcome to Isla de Carmina, January, she muttered to herself. Home sweet. Lolo's icebox. Nag-unpack siya ng kaunti, naligo at nagbihis ng mas presentable na damit. She felt restless. Ayaw niyang magmukmok sa kwarto. Deciding to explore and bit, lumabas siya. The house was a labyrinth of corridors and rooms. May mga sala na puno ng antikes, may library na amoy lumang libro, at may mga veranda na tinatanaw ang malawak na lupain ng hacienda. Habang palakad-lakad siya, napadpad siya malapit sa opisina ulit ng lolo niya. The door was slightly ajar. Curiosity got the better of her. Sumilip siya ng kaunti. And then she saw him. Lumabas mula sa opisina ni Don Alvaro si Cholo, ang mekanikong tumulong sa kanya kanina. Pero this time, he looked different. Wala na yung grasa at dumi. He was wearing clean, crisp, light blue polo shirt, neatly tucked into dark slacks. His hair was still damp, but combed back. He looked respectable. Almost distinguished. Hawak niya ang isang folder at parang seryoso silang nag-uusap ni Lolo Alvaro bago siya lumabas. January froze. Her mind reeled. Si Cholo. Anong ginagawa niya dito at ganyan ang suot niya? Akala ko ba mekaniko lang siya? Cholo closed the office door behind him and turned. And then, their eyes met again. This time, there was a flicker of something in his eyes, surprise. Recognition. Pero mabilis din iyong nawala, napalitan ng kanyang usual, guarded expression. He gave her a curt, almost imperceptible nod, then walked past her down the corridor, his footsteps echoing softly on the polished wooden floor. Hindi siya nagsalita. Parang hindi sila nagkakilala kanina lang sa gitna ng kawalan. January just stood there, mouth slightly open. Shocked. Curious. Confused. All of the above. Ano nang ibig sabihin noon? Siya ba yung kitauhan na sinasabi niya? Pero bakit parang iba? Parang hindi lang siya ordinaryong empleyado. Yung paraan ng pagtayo niya, yung aura niya, it was the same quiet intensity she noticed earlier, pero ngayon, without the grease and grime, mas lalo itong lumutang. A thought, a memory, surfaced. Her mother once mentioned something vague about Don Alvaro being deeply indebted to another old family in the province, ay malaking utang na loob that spanned generations. Could Cholo be from that family? Was his presence here, his closeness to her lolo, part of that old obligation? The idea sent a shiver down her spine. Parang may malalim na kwento, isang sikretong hindi niya alam. The dinner bell rang, jolting January from her thoughts. Nagmamadali siyang pumunta sa dining hall, a grand room with a long, dark mahogany table that could probably seat 30 people. Her lolo was already there, seated at the head of the table. At sa kanan nito si Cholo. January stopped in her tracks. Okay, this was getting weirder and weirder. So, hindi lang siya basta tauhan. He was important enough to dine with the Don. Maupo ka, January, sabi ni Lolo Alvaro, his voice still as cold as the evening air drifting in from the open windows. January took a seat opposite Cholo, trying her best to act nonchalant, pero ramdam niya ang titig nito. O baka imagination niya lang? She sneaked glance at him. He was looking down at his plate, his expression neutral. Pero there was tension in the air, so thick you could cut it with a knife. The food was served via silent, efficient maids. It was traditional Filipino fare, probably delicious, pero parang walang lasa para kay January. The silence at the table was deafening, broken only via the clinking of silverware. Her lolo ate with a focused intensity, parang walang ibang tao sa lamesa. January couldn't take it anymore. So, Cholo, she began, trying to sound casual. Nagulat ako na nandito ka pala. Akala ko di. January, putol ni Lolo Alvaro, his voice sharp, making her jump. Tumingin ito sa kanya, yung mga mata nitong parang nag-ielo. Huwag mo siyang kausapin. Napatanga si January. Po? Bakit po? Basta, Lolo Alvaro said, his tone final. Umiwas ka sa lalaking yan. Para sa ikabubuti mo. He didn't elaborate. He didn't offer any explanation. Just cold, hard command. January looked from her lolo to Cholo. Cholo's face remained impassive, pero nakita niya ang bahagyang pag-igting ng panga nito. He didn't say anything. He just continued eating, as if her lolo hadn't just basically forbidden her from even acknowledging his existence. What the hell was going on? Anong meron kay Cholo na ayaw ng lolo niya na mapalapit siya? Was he dangerous? Was there some dark secret? The intrigue was killing her. And, if she were honest with herself, there was a teeny spark of defiance igniting within her. Sino si Lolo para diktahan siya kung sino ang kakausapin niya o hindi? The rest of the dinner was excruciating. January picked at her food, her mind racing. Celos? Was her Lolo jealous of something? Or was he just being his usual, overbearing, controlling self? The more she thought about it, the more she wanted to know about Cholo. Yung pagbabawal ng lolo niya, parang mas lalo lang nagpa-curious sa kanya. After dinner, January excused herself, needing to escape the oppressive atmosphere. She wandered out onto one of the verandas, breathing in the cool night air, which smelled of dama de noche and damp earth. The moon was bright, casting long shadows across the gardens. Hindi lahat ng yaman ay kita mo agad. Napalingon si January. Nakasandal si Cholo sa isang haligi sa dilim, a few feet away from her. Hindi niya namalayan ang pagdating nito. Parang pusa. Cholo, she whispered, half surprised, half expectant. Anong-anong ibig sabihin noon? He stepped out of the shadows, the moonlight catching the angles of his face. He looked serious, almost sad. Maraming bagay dito sa Isla de Carmina, January, na hindi mo maintindihan sa unang tingin. Like what? She pressed. Like you? Sino ka ba talaga? Bakit ayaw ni Lolo na kausapin kita? Cholo looked out at the dark expanse of the hacienda. Ang lolo mo may mga dahilan siya. Minsan, mahirap unawain pero para sa kanya, tama yun. Pero hindi yan fair. January protested. Hindi niya man lang sinabi kung bakit. Para akong bata na pinagbabawalan ng hindi alam ang rason. Cholo turned to her, his eyes intense in the moonlight. Minsan, ang mga bagay na tinatago, yun ang pinakamahalaga. He took a step closer. Mag-iingat ka, January. Hindi lang sa daan, kundi pati na rin dito sa isla. Bakit? Anong meron dito? She felt a shiver and it wasn't just from the night breeze. Minsan, ang paraiso, may nakatago ring dilim, he said softly, his voice barely a whisper. Then, as silently as he appeared, he nodded once and walked away, disappearing back into the shadows of the old house. January stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where he had been. Hindi lahat ng yaman ay kita mo agad. Minsan, ang paraiso may nakatago ring dilim. Ang mga salitang yon parang tumatak sa isip niya. Her initial annoyance at her lolo was now mixed with deeper, more unsettling feeling. Intrigue, definitely. But also a growing sense of something else. This island, this house, her lolo, and most especially Cholo, they were all shrouded in mystery. And January, despite her city girl sensibilities, found herself undeniably, irrevocably drawn in. Gusto niyang malaman ang mga sikreto. Kahit pa sinabi ng lolo niya na umiwas siya. Lalo na dahil sinabi ng lolo niya na umiwas siya. The next few days in Isla de Carmina were a strange mix of suffocating boredom and simmering tension for January. Lolo Alvaro remained as cold and distant as ever, his warnings about Cholo hanging in the air like unspoken threat. Pero imbes na matakot at umiwas, January found herself increasingly fascinated. Parang yung bawal, yun ang masarap. Classic. She tried to busy herself. Nagbabasa siya sa library, naglalakad sa hardin, trying to appreciate the provincial charm her mother always raved about. Pero her thoughts kept drifting back to Cholo. Sino ba talaga siya? Ano ang koneksyon niya sa lolo niya? At bakit, sa kabila ng lahat ng misteryo at ng pagiging suplado nito minsan, parang may kung anong humihila sa kanya palapit. Their encounters were few and far between, often accidental, always brief. Nakakasalubong niya ito sa pasilyo, a quick nod, a fleeting glance, tapos wala na. Minsan, nakikita niya itong kausap ang mga trabahador sa bukid, seryoso at focused. At sa bawat pagkikita nila, kahit walang imikan, naroon yung kuryente. Yung unspoken awareness. It was confusing, frustrating, and undeniably kilig. Yes, kilig. January, the pragmatic city girl, was feeling that silly, teenage flutter in her stomach. Nakakainis. One morning, desperate for a change of scenery and a taste of normalcy, January decided to go to the local market. Sabi ni Manang Belen, fiesta po sa kabilang bayan, senorita, baka gusto niyong mamasyal. Fiesta. It sounded lively. Something to break the monotony of the hacienda. Sasama po ako kay Manang Linda sa palengke, she told her lolo at breakfast. Don Alvaro just grunted, not even looking up from his newspaper. Fine. Whatever. The palenque was a riot of colors, sounds, and smells. Vendors hawking their wares, A cacophony of Tagalog and local dialects, the scent of fresh produce, grilled fish, and kakanin. It was overwhelming but in a good way. Parang biglang nabuhayan ang dugo ni January. While Manang Linda, one of the hacienda's cooks, was busy haggling for vegetables, January wandered off, her eyes wide with curiosity. She bought a stick of banana Q, the sweet, caramelized sugar you welcome treat. Habang ninanamnam niya ito, may biglang bumangga sa kanya mula sa likod, muntik na niyang mabitawan ang pagkain. Ay, sorry miss. January turned, ready to give the piece of her mind, but her words died in her throat. It was Cholo. Nakasuot ito ng simpleng t-shirt at maong, may bitbit na bayong na puno ng kung ano-anong gamit. He looked surprised to see her too. Cholo, she exclaimed, a little too brightly. Anong ginagawa mo dito? Stupid question. Palengke ito, alangan namang nagmumol siya. Namimili, he said, a small smile playing on his lips. That rare smile that always made her heart do a little flip. Ikaw? Akala ko, hindi ka mahilig sa ganitong lugar. Well, you thought wrong, January retorted, a bit defensively. I like experiencing new things. Liar, her inner voice taunted. Pero may something sa presence ni Cholo that made her want to prove him wrong, to show him she wasn't just some spoiled city brat. Gusto mong ikutin ang palengke, he offered, gesturing with his chin. Baka may magustuhan ka. Hesitation flickered. Lolo's warning echoed in her mind. Umiwas ka sa lalaking yan. Pero yung kuryosidad, yung anting-anting ni Cholo, mas malakas. Sige ba, she said, trying to sound casual. Lead the way, Jim, a local expert. He chuckled, a low, pleasant sound. And just like that, they were walking side by side, navigating the crowded aisles of the market. Cholo seemed to know everyone. Binabati siya ng mga tindera, kinakamusta ng mga kapwa mamimili. He moved with an easy confidence, far aside from the silent, brooding man at her Lolo's dinner table. He showed her stalls selling exotic fruits she'd never seen before, intricate handicrafts woven by local artisans, and even a corner where fighting cocks were being preened and admired. He explained things to her, patiently answering her sometimes naive questions. There was a natural chemistry between them, an easy banter that felt right. Walang pilitan. Parang matagal na silang magkakilala. So, eto pala yung sikretong yaman mo. January teased, referring to his earlier cryptic statement. Ang galing mong makipagtawaran. Cholo grinned. Isa lang yan sa marami. They bought puto bumbong and shared it, their fingers brushing accidentally as they reached for the sticky purple rice cakes. Jolt. Definitely a jolt. Nagkatinginan sila tapos mabilis na umiwas. The air suddenly felt a little warmer, a little thicker. Later that week, nagkaroon ng small-town fiesta sa malapit na baryo. January, feeling adventurous, decided to borrow one of the old bicycles from the hacienda's shed. Gusto niyang libutin yung mga palayan na nakikita niya mula sa bintana ng kwarto niya. She was wobbling her way down a dusty path, surrounded by endless green rice paddies shimmering under the afternoon sun, when she saw a familiar figure up ahead, also on a bicycle. Si Cholo. Mukhang galing ito sa kung saan. Stalker ka ba? Bungad ni January paglapit niya, trying to sound annoyed, pero may ngiti sa labi. Cholo laughed. Baka ikaw ang stalker ko. Ito ang shortcut ko pa uwi. He looked at her, amused. Sanay ka pala magbike? Medyo, she admitted. Noong bata ako. Pero matagal na kong di nakakapagbike ng ganito kaseryoso. Gusto mong sumabay, he offered. May alam akong magandang tanawin malapit dito. And so, they biked together, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows. They rode past fields where carabaos grazed lazily, past small nipa huts with children playing in the yards, waving at them as they passed. The air was fresh, smelling of earth and growing things. It was peaceful. Simple. And with Cholo beside her, it felt perfect. They stopped at a small hill overlooking the rice paddies, the air beginning to blaze with the colors of sunset, orange, pink, and gold. Umupo sila sa damuhan, tahimik na pinapanood ang paglubog ng araw. Ang ganda dito, January whispered, awestruck. Wala siyang ganitong view sa Manila. Cholo agreed, his voice soft. Minsan, yung mga simpleng bagay, yun yung pinakamaganda. He paused, then turned to her, his expression serious. Alam mo, January, noong bata ako, pangarap ko lang makalabas ng islang to, makapunta sa Maynila, makakita ng ibang mundo. January listened intently. This was the first time he was really opening up to her. Pero habang tumatagal, he continued, his gaze distant, unti-unti kong nare-realize na yung hinahanap ko, baka nandito lang pala. Na yung tunay na yaman, hindi yung pera o yung mga material na bagay. He looked at her, his eyes searching. Ginawa akong parang alila ng lolo mo noon, para daw matuto ako ng humility, ng pagpapahalaga sa trabaho. Akala ko parusa. Pero ngayon, naiintindihan ko na. Bakit kanya ginawang alila? January asked, shocked. Her lolo did that. Cholo shrugged. Mahabang kwento. May mga kasunduan ang mga pamilya namin noon pa. Utang na kailangang bayaran. Pero hindi iyon ang importante. Ang importante, yung mga natutunan ko. He smiled faintly. Natutunan kong mas mahalaga ang pawis kesa sa mana. January was moved. There was so much depth to this man, so much hidden beneath his quiet exterior. He wasn't just some mysterious, handsome mechanic. He was something more. Someone who had faced hardship and learned from it, someone who valued things beyond the superficial. Ikaw, Cholo said, turning the tables. Anong pangarap mo, January? Bukod sa makatakas dito sa Isla de Carmina? He said it with a teasing glint in his eye. January laughed. Ang sama mo. Hindi naman ako ganon ka-desperate makatakas. She felt for a moment. Gusto kong maging successful sa career ko. Maging independent. Maybe find someone who understands me, who can build a life with. Her voice trailed off, suddenly ever. Bakit niya sinasabi to kay Cholo? Cholo was looking at her, his gaze soft and intense. The setting sun painted his face in warm hues. Parang biglang huminto ang mundo. Ang naririnig lang ni January ay ang tibok ng puso niya, na parang gustong kumawala sa dibdib. Mahahanap mo rin iyon, January, he said, his voice a low murmur. Deserve mo iyon. He leaned in, slowly. January's breath hitched. Was this it? Was he going to kiss her? Her mind screamed, Lolo. Bawal. But her heart, oh, her treacherous heart, was pounding with anticipation. She found herself leaning into, her eyes fluttering closed. Their lips met. It was soft, tentative at first, then deepened. A wave of pure, unadulterated kilig washed over January. It was sweet and warm and tasted faintly of the sunset. Everything faded away, the island, her lolo, her worries. There was only Cholo and this moment, this perfect, stolen kiss. It felt like an eternity and yet, not long enough. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathless, their eyes locked. A slow smile spread across Cholo's face, a smile that reached his eyes, making them sparkle. January felt her cheeks flush, a goofy grin plastered on her own face. Oh Elwe God, I kissed Cholo. And it was amazing. But the magic of the moment was shattered. Kiwai, sharp, feminine voice. Baby. Andito ka lang pala. Kanina pa kita hinahanap. Napalingon sina January at Cholo, gulat. Nakatayo hindi kalayuan sa kanila ang isang babae. She was strikingly beautiful, in a very polished, very mayaman na paraan. Naka-designer dress ito, may malaking sunglasses na nakaangat sa buhok, at may hawak na mamahaling bag. She was looking straight at Cholo, the possessive glint in her eyes. January's heart plummeted. Baby. Did she just call Cholo babe? The woman sashayed towards them, her eyes flicking dismissively over January before settling back on Cholo, the pout forming on her perfectly lipstick lips. Sino siya, babe? She asked, her voice dripping with saccharine sweetness, but with an undeniable undercurrent of steel. Cholo looked flustered, a rare sight. He stood up, running key hand through his hair. Selina, anong ginagawa mo dito? Sinusundo ka, of course. Selina said, linking her arm through Cholo's possessively. Mommy and Daddy are expecting us for dinner. Nag-text na sila, may importanteng pag-usapan daw about the arrangements. She emphasized the word the arrangements, giving January a pointed look. Then, she turned to January, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Hi. I'm Selina. Cholo's fiancé. Fiancé. The word hit January like physical blow. Parang biglang nanlamig ang buong paligid. The beautiful sunset, the sweet taste of the kiss, the burgeoning hope in her heart, lahat yon, biglang naglaho, napalitan ng isang malamig, mapait na karot. Fiancé. Cholo was engaged. And he had just kissed her. Fiancé. The word echoed in January's mind, cruel, mocking mantra. Parang sirang plaka. Fiancé. 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 The beautiful sunset suddenly seemed garish, the sweet air thick and cloying. Yung kilig na naramdaman niya kanina lang, yung init ng halik ni Cholo, napalitan ng isang nagielong kirot sa dibdib. It spread through her veins like ice, numbing her. Pinaglaruan lang ba ako? Was she just a momentary diversion? Provincial fling for the engaged city boy pretending to be a humble mechanic. January felt her face burn with a mixture of shame, anger, and deep, aching hurt. Hindi siya makapagsalita. Nakatitig lang siya kay Cholo, waiting for him to deny it, to say something, anything, to make this nightmare go away. Pero Cholo just looked trapped. Guilty, even. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Selina, on the other hand, looked smug. She tightened her grip on Cholo's arm, pulling him closer, her smile a predatory slash of red lipstick. So, anong pangalan mo, miss? She asked January, her tone a little too sweet, a little too condescending. Friend ka ba ni Cholo dito sa probinsya? The implication was clear, you're just some local nobody. January finally found her voice, though it came out shaky. January, she managed, her throat tight. And no, hindi kami friends. She couldn't even look at Cholo. The betrayal stung too much. She felt like a fool. An idiot. How could she have let herself be so easily swayed? Few shared moments, few intense gazes, and one stolen kiss. Oh, Selina said, feigning surprise. Well, nice to meet you, January. Pasensya na, ha, pero we really have to go. May importante kaming family dinner. She tugged at Cholo's arm again. Tara na, babe. Cholo finally looked at January, his eyes filled with an emotion she couldn't quite decipher. Regret? Pleading? Hindi niya alam. At sa mga sandaling yon, wala na siyang pakialam. All she felt was a rising tide of anger and humiliation. Mauna na kami, Cholo mumbled, his voice low. He let Selina lead him away, down the hill, towards a sleek, expensive-looking SUV parked discreetly beside the roadside, a car that screamed Manila wealth and was a stark contrast to the simple bicycles they had been riding. January watched them go, her fists clenched at her sides. Nang mawala na sila sa paningin niya, doon na bumuhos ang mga luha niya. Tears of anger, tears of heartbreak, tears of utter foolishness. She sank back down onto the grass, the beautiful sunset now, cruel mockery. How could he? How could he kiss her like that, look at her like that, if he was engaged to someone else? Pinaglaruan lang ako. The thought seared itself into her brain. She felt used, discarded. Like she was just some insignificant speck in his otherwise perfect, prearranged life. Nang makabalik siya sa hacienda, dumiretso siya sa kwarto niya, locking the door behind her. She didn't want to see anyone, especially not her lolo, who would probably say, "I told you so," with that infuriatingly smug look of his. Nagkulong siya sa kwarto, umiiyak, until her eyes were swollen and her head throbbed. Yung mga alaala nila ni Cholo, yung pagkikita nila sa palengke, yung pagbibisikleta nila, yung mga tinginan, yung halik, lahat yon, parang lason na kumakalat sa sistema niya. Each memory was a fresh stab of pain. She replayed Selena's words, "Mommy and Daddy are expecting us for dinner." Nag-text na sila, may importanteng pag-uusapan daw about the arrangements. Arrangements. So, it was an arranged marriage. Typical for rich families. Pero kahit na arranged, engaged pa rin siya. And he still kissed her. That made it even worse. Parang wala siyang respeto. The next morning, January woke up with heavy heart and a firm resolve. Aalis siya. She couldn't stay on this island any longer. Every corner of the hacienda, every rustle of the sugarcane fields, would just remind her of Cholo and her own stupidity. Kailangan niyang lumayo. Nag-empake siya ng gamit niya, her movements jerky and filled by a cold anger. She would tell her lolo she had urgent business back in Manila. Hindi na niya kailangan ng approval nito. Just as she was zipping up her suitcase, may kumatok sa pinto. January. It was Cholo's voice. January froze. Anong ginagawa niya dito? After what happened yesterday? The nerve of this guy. Go away, Cholo, she yelled, her voice hoarse from crying. January, please, mag-usap tayo, he pleaded from the other side of the door. Kailangan kong magpaliwanag. Wala na tayong dapat pag-usapan, she shot back. Narinig ko na lahat kahapon. Fiance mo siya. End of story. Hindi yun ganun kasimple, January. Please, pakinggan mo muna ako. His voice sounded desperate. Against her better judgment, a teeny part of her, the foolish, hopeful part she thought had died last night, wanted to hear what he had to say. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe. With a sigh of frustration, she unlocked the door and flung it open. Cholo stood there, looking haggard. His eyes were bloodshot, and he looked like he hadn't slept all night. Good. Dapat lang siyang magdusa. What? She snapped, crossing her arms. Anong hindi ganun kasimple? Engaged ka o hindi? Yes or no lang, Cholo. Pero. Slap. January didn't even realize she had done it until her palm stung and Cholo's head recoiled from the force of the blow. A red mark was already forming on his cheek. Cholo looked at her, stunned, his hand slowly coming up to touch his face. January felt a momentary pang of regret, but it was quickly overshadowed by her anger. How dare you, she said, her voice trembling. How dare you kiss me, lead me on, make me feel things kung engaged ka na pala sa iba. Anong tingin mo sakin, Cholo? Isang probinsyana na madaling mauto. Isang laruan? Hindi, January, hinding-hindi. Cholo said, his voice raw with emotion. Hindi kita pinaglaruan. Yung nangyari sa tin. Yung halik totoo yun para sakin. Totoo. January loved a harsh, bitter sound. Totoo pero may fiance ka? Ang galing mo naman. Multitasking ba yan? Hindi ko mahal si Selena, Cholo said, his eyes pleading. That engagement it's an arrangement. Isang kasunduan ng mga pamilya namin. Matagal na. Pero hindi ako pumayag doon. Hindi ko siya pakakasalan. Oh, really? January raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. So, yung baby at mommy and daddy are expecting us, drama lang yun ni Selena. Kasama sa script ng arrangement nyo. Alam kong mahirap paniwalaan, January, pero. Cholo, tama na, January cut him off, her voice wary. Sauna kong makinig sa mga paliwanag mo. Kitang-kita ko na. You're rich, you're from a powerful family, and you're engaged to someone equally rich and powerful. Ako lang si January, yung city girl na naligaw sa probinsya mo, na nagkataong nandito lang para sa iyo for little excitement, maybe. Hindi yan totoo. Cholo insisted, stepping closer. January, maniwala ka sakin. Ikaw ang importante sakin. January flinched as if he had struck her again. Huwag mo kong hawakan, she warned, backing away. At huwag mo nang sasabihin iyang mga kasinungalingan mo. Tapos na tayo, Cholo. Kung ano man yung inakala kong meron tayo, wala na yun. It was a mistake. Cholo looked devastated. January, please tea. Umalis ka na, she said, her voice cold and final. At huwag ka nang magpapakita sakin ulit. She slammed the door in his face, tears streaming down her cheeks once more. Ang sakit. Sobrang sakit. But this time, the pain was mixed with a steely resolve. She would not let him hurt her again. Later that day, January confronted her lolo. Lolo, aalis na po ako, she announced, trying to keep her voice steady. May kailangan po akong asikasuhin sa Manila. Don Alvaro looked up from his paperwork, his expression unreadable. Ganon ba kabilis? Opo, January said firmly. Hindi na po ako magtatagal. Her lolo studied her for a long moment, his sharp eyes missing nothing. May nangyari ba? He asked, his voice surprisingly gentle. Or was she just imagining it? January hesitated. Should she tell him about Cholo? About the kiss, the fiance, the heartbreak? No, she wouldn't give him the satisfaction. Wala po, lolo, she lied. Namiss ko lang po ang Maynila. Don Alvaro sighed, a long, weary sound. He looked older, suddenly. Alam mo, January, he began, his voice quiet. May mga bagay na kailangan kang malaman. Mga bagay na hindi ko pa nasasabi sa'yo. January frowned. Ano po yun, lolo? Don Alvaro leaned back in his chair, his gaze fixed on something far away. Ang hasyendang ito, ang lahat ng yaman ng mga Montoya, hindi ito para sakin. At hindi rin ito para sa nanay mo. January's eyes widened. Anong ibig niyong sabihin? May habilin ang lolo mo sa tuhod, ang unang Don Alvaro, he explained. Isang testamento. At ayon sa habilin na iyon, ang tunay na tagapagmana ng lahat ng ito ay ikaw, January. January felt the blood drain from her face. Ako? Pero bakit ako? She was just a city girl who barely knew anything about the hacienda, about their family's history. It's a long story, Apo, Don Alvaro said. Isang kwento ng mga pangako, ng mga sakripisyo, at ng mga lihim na itinago ng maraming taon. Pero ang mahalaga, ikaw ang itinalaga. May mga kondisyon, syempre. Mga responsibilidad na kailangan mong gampanan. January was speechless. The heiress. It was too much to take in. Parang eksena sa pelikula. Pero may isang bagay na kailangan mong tandaan, January, Don Alvaro continued, his voice turning grave. Ang posisyon mo bilang tagapagmana ay maselan. Maraming nakataya. At ang anumang koneksyon mo kay Cholo kay Ricardo Sebastian de Silva di. January's head snapped up. Ricardo Sebastian de Silva. That was Cholo's real name. Ang haba. At ang sosyal pakinggan. Ay sisira sa lahat, Don Alvaro finished, his eyes hard. Ang pamilya nila, ang mga de Silva, matagal na silang may alitan sa pamilya natin. Isang alitan na mas malalim pa sa inaakala mo. May mga utang na dugo, may mga hidwaan sa lupa. Kung pipiliin mo siya, January, kung ipagpapatuloy mo ang anumang namamagitan sa inyo, mawawala sa iyo ang lahat. Ang mana, ang hacienda, ang kinabukasan mo bilang Montoya. January stared at her lolo, her mind reeling from this new, shocking revelation. So, it wasn't just a simple, Lolo doesn't like him situation. It was a full-blown, generations-old family feud. Romeo and Juliet, provincial style. And Cholo, or Ricardo, was the enemy. And she had kissed the enemy. She had fallen for the enemy. Kapag pinili mo siya, mawawala lahat, her lolo repeated, his voice like death knell. The weight of his words crashed down on January. Her inheritance, her family's legacy, versus Cholo. A man who was engaged to someone else, a man whose family was her family's sworn enemy. The choice seemed clear, didn't it? But then, she remembered his eyes, his smile, the way he made her feel. The brief, stolen moments of happiness they shared. Was it all a lie? Was he just using her as part of some De Silva scheme? The confusion, the hurt, the anger, it all swirled inside her, maelstrom of emotions. She couldn't think straight. All she knew was that she needed to get away. Away from Cholo, away from her Lolo, away from this island and its suffocating secrets. That night, under the cloak of darkness, while the whole hacienda was asleep, January quietly slipped out of her room. She had left short note for her Lolo, a vague apology for her abrupt departure. She couldn't face him. She couldn't face anyone. With her bags in tow, she tiptoed down the grand staircase, her heart pounding in her chest. She got into her car, Cholo's temporary fix on the radiator hose still holding, thankfully. She started the engine, the sound unnaturally loud in the stillness of the night. As she drove away from Hacienda Montoya, leaving behind the imposing house and the dark sugarcane fields, she didn't look back. Tears streamed down her face, but this time, they were not just tears of heartbreak. They were tears of confusion, of fear, and of a profound, aching loneliness. She had chosen. Or rather, circumstances had chosen for her. She was running away. From Cholo. From her destiny. From herself. Pinaglaruan lang ba ako? The question still haunted her. But now, it was overshadowed by a bigger, more terrifying thought. What if I made the wrong choice? The drive away from Isla de Carmina was a blur. Si January, nagmamaneho sa ilalim ng madilim na kalangitan, tanging ang mga bituin at ang humihinang ilaw ng buwan ang kasama. The road was treacherous, even more so in the dark. Yung mga lubak na muntik nang sumira sa kotse niya noong papunta, parang mas dumami pa ngayon, o baka dala lang ng emosyon niya, kaya parang lahat ng bagay ay kumakalaban sa kanya. Her mind was chaotic mess. Lola's revelation about her being the heiress, the ancient feud with Cholos, Ricardo's family, Selina's smug face, and worst of all, Cholo's kiss, his lies, his betrayal. Or was it betrayal? Hindi ko mahal si Selina. Hindi ako pumayag doon. His words echoed in her ears, a faint, desperate plea she had brutally shut down. Kapag pinili mo siya, mawawala lahat. Her Lola's warning felt like a vice around her heart. Lahat. Her future, her family's legacy. Was a man who was practically a stranger, a man who was engaged to another, worth losing all that. A man whose family was her enemy. The sensible, pragmatic January screamed but a small, traitorous part of her, the part that had melted under his gaze and soared with his kiss, whispered a hesitant maybe. Arf! Nakakainis, she yelled into the empty car, slamming her fist on the steering wheel. Tears streamed down her face, blurring her vision. She swiped at them angrily. Hindi siya dapat umiyak. Hindi para sa isang manlolokong tulad ni Cholo. Ricardo. Whatever his name was. Then, the rain started. At first, it was just a light drizzle, but soon, it turned into a torrential downpour, the kind that only tropical island could unleash. The wipers on her car struggled to keep up with the deluge, the road ahead becoming a murky, indistinct ribbon. Fear, cold and sharp, began to prickle at the edges of her anger and heartbreak. She was alone, in the middle of nowhere, in a raging storm. She should have waited until morning. She should have been more careful. Pero yung kagustuhan niyang makalayo, yung sakit na nararamdaman niya, yun ang nagtulak sa kanya. The car's tires skidded on a particularly muddy patch. January gasped, gripping the steering wheel tighter, trying to regain control. For a terrifying moment, the car fishtailed wildly. She managed to straighten it out, her heart pounding like a drum against her ribs. Okay, January, calm down, she told herself, her voice trembling. Kaya mo to, malapit ka na sa main road. But the storm seemed to intensify, the wind howling like a banshee, lashing the rain against her windshield. Visibility was almost zero. And then, she saw it, a sharp, unlit curve ahead. She hit the brakes, but it was too late. The car, already unstable, hydroplaned. Time seemed to slow down. The sickening lurch as the tires lost traction. The horrifying realization that she was no longer in control. A scream tore from her throat as the car veered off the road, crashed through a flimsy wooden barrier, and plunged into the darkness. There was a deafening crunch of metal, the shattering of glass, and then nothing. Only the relentless drumming of the rain on the twisted wreckage. Back at the hacienda, Don Alvaro was awakened by the violent storm. He stood by his window, watching the rain, sense of unease settling in his heart. He had found January's note. Aalis na po ako. Patawad. The words were cold comfort. He knew his granddaughter. She was impulsive, headstrong, just like her grandmother. And just like him, in his younger, more foolish days. His revelation about the inheritance, about the De Silvas, he knew it was a heavy burden to lay on her young shoulders, especially with her heart already in turmoil over Cholo. Ricardo De Silva. The name itself was a bitter pill. For generations, Montoyas and De Silvas had been at odds, their animosity a dark undercurrent in the otherwise peaceful life of Isla de Carmina. He had hoped, foolishly perhaps, that telling January the truth, showing her what was at stake, she would make the right choice. But now, he wasn't so sure. What if he had pushed her too far? A frantic knock on his door. It was Manang Belen, her face pale with worry. Don Alvaro. Don Alvaro. Yung kotse po ni Senorita January wala na po sa garahe. Don Alvaro's blood ran cold. Tumawag kayo ng mga tauhan, he barked, his voice hoarse. Hanapin ninyo siya. Ngayon din. Panic, feeling he hadn't experienced in years, clawed at his chest. His granddaughter, out there alone, in this storm. The news of January's departure, and now her disappearance in the storm, spread through the hacienda like wildfire. Cholo, or Ricardo as Don Alvaro now knew he preferred to be called Gioy, his family, heard the commotion. He had been pacing his own room, his mind a torment of regret and self-recrimination since January slammed the door in his face. Her slap still stung, but her words, "Pinaglaruan lang ba ako?" cut him deeper than any physical blow. He hadn't meant for any of this to happen. His engagement to Selena was a sham, business arrangement between their families that he had been fighting for years. He had never agreed to it, had never loved Selena. But his family, particularly his ambitious father, was insistent. January she was different. From the moment he saw her beside the roadside, feisty and vulnerable, he had felt an undeniable pull. Her laughter, her curiosity, her unexpected sweetness, she had awakened something in him he thought was long dead. And then he had kissed her. A kiss that had sealed his fate, and apparently hers too. When he heard that January had driven off into the storm, the primal fear gripped him. He knew those roads. He knew how dangerous they could be, even in good weather. Without second thought, he grabbed his keys and ran out into the raging storm, ignoring the calls of his own family retainers. He had to find her. He drove his sturdy pickup truck through the blinding rain, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. Every flash of lightning illuminated the treacherous path, every gust of wind threatened to push him off course. But he pressed on, his heart cold not of dread. Please, January, be safe. Please. He searched the main road first, then the smaller, less traveled paths. Hours passed. The storm showed no signs of abating. Hope was dwindling. And then, he saw it, break in the roadside barrier, tire tracks leading into the ravine. No, he whispered, his blood turning to ice. He slammed on the brakes, jumped out of his truck, and scrambled down the muddy, slippery slope, the rain plastering his hair to his face, his clothes soaked through. And there it was. January's car, a mangled heap of metal at the bottom of the ravine, half submerged in a swollen creek. January, he screamed, his voice raw with terror. He slid and stumbled his way to the wreckage, his heart pounding in his ears. He wrenched open the driver's side door, which was miraculously not completely jammed. January was slumped over the steering wheel, unconscious. There was a gash on her forehead, blood matting her hair. For a terrifying moment, Chol thought the worst. He reached out, trembling hand, his fingers searching for a pulse at her neck. Thump thump. Thump thump. Wake, but there. She was alive. A wave of relief, so profound it almost buckled his knees, washed over him. Thank God, he breathed. He carefully unbuckled her seatbelt, his hands surprisingly gentle despite their shaking. He had to get her out of there, get her to a hospital. With a strength born of desperation, he lifted her into his arms. She was so light, so fragile. He carried her back up the treacherous slope, his muscles screaming in protest, the mud trying to suck him down. But he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Her life depended on it. The hospital in the nearest town was small, but the doctors and nurses were efficient. January was rushed into the emergency room. Don Alvaro arrived shortly after, his face ashen, his usual stoic demeanor shattered. He saw Cholo, covered in mud and blood, January's blood, standing helplessly in the corridor. For a moment, the old animosity, the decades of distrust between their families, flared in Don Alvaro's eyes. But then he saw the raw anguish on Cholo's face, the genuine terror in his eyes, and something shifted. This wasn't just S. D. Silva. This was a man who had risked his own life to save his granddaughter. Kamusta siya? Don Alvaro asked, his voice barely a whisper. Hindi ko pa alam, Don Alvaro, Cholo replied, his voice hoarse. Nasa loob pa siya. They waited. The minutes stretched into an eternity. The sterile smell of the hospital, the hushed voices, the relentless beep of machines, it was a symphony of anxiety. Finally, the doctor came out. She's stable for now, he announced, and both men sagged with relief. She has a concussion, some broken ribs, and multiple lacerations. But thankfully, walang internal bleeding na malala. She's lucky. Very lucky. Don Alvaro nodded, tears welling in his eyes. He turned to Cholo. Salamat, iho, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Salamat sa pagligtas mo sa apo ko. In that moment, the old feud, the inherited hatred, seemed to fade into insignificance. All that mattered was January. January drifted in and out of consciousness. Pain was a dull, throbbing ache throughout her body. She heard voices, muffled and distant. She felt a cool cloth on her forehead. In a moment of hazy lucidity, she thought she heard Cholo's voice, close to her ear, desperate whisper. January, kung mawawala ka, wala nang saysay ang lahat. Was it a dream? A hallucination? Or was it real? The words, so full of raw, unadulterated emotion, resonated deep within her, bypassing the anger, the hurt, the confusion. Wala nang saysay ang lahat. When January finally woke up properly, the storm had passed. Sunlight streamed through the hospital window. Her Lolo was asleep in a chair by her bedside, his hand clutching hers. She felt a surge of affection for the old man, despite everything. She remembered the crash. The fear. The pain. And then. Cholo. She remembered his face, his voice, the desperate urgency in his eyes as he pulled her from the wreckage. She remembered his whispered words by her bedside. Kung mawawala ka, wala nang saysay ang lahat. Could it be true? Could he, Ricardo Sebastian de Silva, scion of her family's enemy, engaged to another woman, actually love her? The thought was terrifying. And yet, it was also liberating. Lying there, bruised and battered, January felt a strange sense of clarity. The inheritance, the family feud, Selena, none of it seemed to matter as much as it did before. What mattered was life. What mattered was love. Real love. Not the kind dictated by family arrangements or social standing. She had been running away, trying to protect herself, trying to make the sensible choice. But what if the sensible choice was the wrong one? What if true happiness lay in taking risk, in defying expectations, in choosing with her heart, even if it meant losing everything else? A tear slipped from the corner of her eye. This accident, as horrific as it was, had shaken her to her core. It had forced her to confront her own mortality, and in doing so, it had awakened her to what truly mattered. She looked at her sleeping Lolo. She thought of Cholo. A decision began to form in her mind, a decision that was both terrifying and exhilarating. She would no longer let fear or family obligations dictate her life. She would choose her own path. She would choose love. Freely. Pagmulat ng mata ni January, ang una niyang nakita ay ang mukha ng kanyang lolo Alvaro, bakas ang pag-aalala at ang ilang gabing walang tulog. Nakaupo ito sa tabi ng kanyang kama sa ospital, mahigpit na hawak ang kanyang kamay. The sterile scent of the hospital still hung in the air, but the fear that had gripped her before the accident was gone, replaced by a quiet, steely resolve. "Lolo," she whispered, her voice still a bit hoarse. Don Alvaro's eyes snapped open. A wave of relief washed over his stern features. "Apo, gising ka na. Salamat sa Diyos." Hinaplos nito ang kanyang buhok, isang gesture na bibihira nitong gawin, pero ngayon, puno ng lambing. "Okay na po ako, Lolo," January assured him, managing iwake smile. Masakit pa rin ang katawan niya, may mga benda at pasa, pero yung bigat sa dibdib niya, parang nabawasan. "Pinag-alala mo kami ng husto, Hija," sabi ni Don Alvaro, umiling-iling. Akala ko mawawala ka na sa amin." May namuong luha sa gilid ng mga mata nito. January squeezed his hand. "Hindi po ako basta-basta mawawala, Lolo. May unfinished business pa po ako." Don Alvaro looked at her, the question in his eyes. Alam nito kung ano o sino ang tinutukoy niya. "Lolo," January began, taking a deep breath. "This was it, naisip ko na po. At nakapagdesisyon na ako." Tumingin siya ng diretso sa mga mata ng kanyang lolo, walang bakas ng pag-aalinlangan. "Ako po ang pipili sa puso ko." A long silence filled the room. Don Alvaro just stared at her, his expression unreadable. January held her breath, waiting for his reaction. Ipagpipilitan ba nito ang mana? Ang alitan ng pamilya? Magagalit ba ito? Finally, Don Alvaro let out a long, slow sigh. He looked out the window, at the clear blue sky that had replaced the storm. Parang may kung anong bigat na nabunot sa kanyang mga balikat. "Alam mo, January," he said, his voice surprisingly soft, "noong mga panahon na akala ko mawawala ka na, walang ibang mahalaga sa akin kundi ang makita kang ligtas. Yung mana, yung hacienda, yung mga lumang away parang nawalan lahat ng saysay." He turned back to her, a faint, sad smile on his lips. "Siguro, matanda na talaga ako. O baka naman, yung aksidenteng to, ginising din ako sa katotohanan. Ang tunay na yaman, hindi yung lupa o pera, kundi yung mga taong mahal natin." Tears welled up in January's eyes. "Lolo T. Kung siya talaga ang mahal mo, Apo," Don Alvaro continued, his voice gaining a bit of its old firmness, but without the coldness, "kung siya talaga ang magpapasaya sa iyo, sino ako para humadlang?" He paused. "Pero may kondisyon ako." January waited, her heart pounding. "Kailangan niyong umalis sa Isla de Carmina," Don Alvaro said. "Pareho kayo. Hindi para parusahan kayo, kundi para bigyan kayo ng pagkakataong magsimula muli. Malayo sa mga anino ng nakaraan, malayo sa mga hidwaan na hindi naman kayo ang nagsimula." He looked at her pointedly. "Ang pamilya de Silva hindi sila basta-basta susuko. At ayokong mapahamak ka ulit." January understood. Her lolo wasn't disowning her. He was protecting her. In his own way, he was giving her his blessing. "Pumapayag po ako, Lolo," January said, her voice thick with emotion. "Salamat po." A few days later, January was discharged from the hospital. Cholo, or Ricardo, as she was slowly getting used to calling him, though Cholo still felt more intimate, was there to fetch her. He had been a constant presence during her recovery, quiet but steadfast. Yung mga tinginan nila, puno na ng unspoken understanding ng pag-asa. The De Silva family, especially Ricardo's father, had been furious about his defiance, his continued association with Montoya, and his outright rejection of the arranged marriage with Selena. Selena, for her part, had thrown a series of dramatic tantrums before finally, and very publicly, calling off the engagement, declaring Ricardo impossible and unworthy of her. Good riddance, January thought with a smirk. Ricardo had made his choice. He stood up to his family, renounced his own potential inheritance from the De Silva Empire, and declared his love for January. Wala akong pakialam sa yaman nila, January, he had told her, his eyes burning with sincerity. Ang gusto ko lang, ikaw. Tayo. At yung mga salitang yun ang pinanghawakan ni January. Their departure from Isla de Carmina was quiet. Manang Belen and some of the hacienda staff tearfully bid them goodbye, slipping them pabaon of local delicacies. Don Alvaro stood on the veranda of the old house, watching them go. He didn't wave, but January saw the glint of tears in his eyes before they drove away. It wasn't goodbye forever. It was see you soon, under better circumstances. They decided to start their new life in Manila. It was a neutral ground, a place where they could be just January and Ricardo, not Tim Montoya and F. De Silva. January still had her career aspirations, and Ricardo, with his mechanical skills and newfound determination, was eager to build something of his own, away from the shadows of his family's wealth and expectations. Life wasn't instantly a fairy tale. Mahirap ang simula. They lived in a small apartment, a far tearsay from the sprawling hacienda or Ricardo's family mansion. May mga araw na nag-aalala sila sa bayarin, may mga araw na napapagod sila sa hirap ng buhay sa syudad. Pero sa bawat pagsubok, mas lalo silang nagiging matatag. Mas lalo nilang minamahal ang isa't isa. One afternoon, about a year after they left Isla de Carmina, Ricardo took January to a quiet, secluded beach just outside Manila. The sun was setting, painting the sky with a familiar palette of orange, pink, and gold, reminiscent of that fateful sunset on the hill in Isla de Carmina, but this time, without the impending heartbreak. They walked along the shore, hand in hand, the waves gently lapping at their feet. Naaalala mo yung sinabi ko sa'yo noon? Ricardo asked, his voice soft, na yung tunay na yaman, hindi yung pera. January smiled. Naman. Ricardo stopped walking and turned to face her. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. It wasn't a diamond ring from a fancy jewelry store. It was a simple ring, fashioned out of a thin, twisted piece of metal. It looked like it came from a bicycle part, with a teeny, smooth, sea glass stone carefully set in its center. Hindi to kasing halaga ng mga alahas na kaya kong ibigay noon, Ricardo said, his eyes shining with love and a hint of nervousness. Pero eto, galing to sa puso ko. At gawa ng mga kamay ko. Parang yung pagmamahal ko sa'yo, January. Simple lang pero totoo. At panghabang buhay. He knelt down on one knee, the sand cool beneath him. January Montoya, mahal na mahal kita. Will you marry me? Tears streamed down January's face, but this time, they were tears of pure, unadulterated joy. Yes, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Yes, Ricardo Sebastian de Silva. I will marry you. He slipped the unique, precious ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. He stood up and pulled her into a tight embrace, kissing her deeply, passionately, as the last rays of the sun dipped below the horizon. Their wedding was simple, just as they wanted it. It was held on that same beach, with only a few close friends and, surprisingly, Don Alvaro in attendance. The old man had flown in from Isla de Carmina, his presence a quiet blessing, a symbol of healing and acceptance. He even managed a gruff but heartfelt handshake with his new grandson-in-law. January wore a simple white dress, her hair adorned with sampaguita flowers. Ricardo was in crisp Barong Tagalog, his eyes never leaving hers. They exchanged vows they wrote themselves, promises of love, loyalty, and a lifetime of shared sunrises and sunsets. As they stood there, surrounded by the people who mattered most, with the sound of the waves as their wedding march and the vast ocean as their witness, January knew, with every fiber of her being, that she had made the right choice. Hindi na mahalaga ang yaman o ang mana. Ang mahalaga ay ang pag-ibig na walang kinikilalang hadlang, ang pag-ibig na nagbigay sa kanya ng tapang para piliin ang sarili niyang kaligayahan. She looked at Ricardo, her husband, her cholo, her love. He smiled back at her, a smile that promised forever. And in that moment, January knew that her greatest treasure wasn't an island or a hacienda, but the man standing beside her, the man who had shown her that sometimes, the most unexpected paths lead to the most beautiful destinations. And that true love, indeed, conquers all. Kahit pa nagsimula sa isang nasirang kotse sa gitna ng kawalan, at sa isang lalaking may tinatagong yaman, isang yaman na hindi nasusukat sa pera, kundi sa lalim ng puso. The end. Isang munting salita mula sa may akda. Mahal kong mga mambabasa. Una sa lahat, mula po sa kaibuturan ng aking puso, maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay sa kwento ni na January at Cholo o Ricardo. Ang bawat oras na inyong inilaan, ang bawat emosyong naramdaman ninyo habang binabasa ang kanilang paglalakbay, ay isang malaking karangalan para sa akin. Ang pagsulat ng nobelang ito ay isang paglalakbay din para sa akin. Bawat kabanata, bawat tagpo, para akong kasamang humihinga ng mga karakter. Naramdaman ko ang kanilang kilig, ang kanilang lungkot, ang kanilang pag-asa, at ang kanilang pagbangon. Ang Isla de Carmina, kahit katang-isip lang, ay naging parang tahanan na rin sa aking imahinasyon, at ninais kong maibahagi sa inyo ang init at hiwaga nito. Nais ko ring bigyang buhay ang kulturang Pilipino sa paraang natural at malapit sa ating puso, mula sa simpleng jeepney ride hanggang sa masayang fiesta, at lalo na sa ating pambihirang taglish na paraan ng pagsasalita. Higit sa lahat, nais kong iparating na ang tunay na pag-ibig ay walang kinikilalang hadlang, hindi yaman, hindi estado sa buhay, at kahit pa ang matagal ng alitan ng pamilya. Ang pag-ibig ay may kakayahang maghilom, magpatawad, at magbigay ng lakas upang harapin ang anumang pagsubok. Sana'y napulutan ninyo ng aral ang katapangan ni January na piliin ang sariling kaligayahan at ang kakayahan ni Cholo Ricardo na magbago para sa pag-ibig at panindigan ito. At huwag nating kalimutan na ang tunay na yaman ay hindi nasusukat sa material na bagay kundi sa pagmamahal, respeto, katapatan, at sa mga simpleng bagay sa buhay na nagdudulot ng tunay na saya. Kung nagustuhan ninyo ang kanilang paglalakbay at may mga aral kayong napulot, huwag po kayong mag-atubiling ibahagi ito sa inyong mga kaibigan at kakilala. At syempre, nais ko ring marinig ang inyong mga saloobin. Ano ang pinakapumatak sa inyo? Aling bahagi ang inyong paborito? May mga karakter ba kayong minahal o kinainisan, sa magandang paraan, sana? Mag-iwan lang po kayo ng komento o mensahe. Bawat isa ay mahalaga sa akin at nagsisilbing inspirasyon upang patuloy na lumikha ng mga kwentong tatatak sa inyong mga puso. Muli, mula sa kaibuturan ng aking puso, maraming salamat. Hanggang sa susunod nating pagkikita sa mga pahina ng kwento. Nagmamahal. Ang inyong manunulat.